I'm Dr. Paul. Today I'm going to talk about the purpose of life. The purpose of life, why we are here. Since the beginning of time, human beings have always asked the same quiet, persistent question. Why are we here? Across cultures and centuries, answers have varied in form. Yet many converge on a shared intuition that life is not random noise, but a meaningful process. One of the most enduring spiritual and philosophical perspectives is that existence is fundamentally about learning, experiencing, making decisions, and growing. Is it, as Pablo Picasso once stated, the meaning of life is to find your gift? The purpose of life is to give it away? This view does not require rigid doctrine. Instead, it frames life as an unfolding journey of growth and awareness. It may be one in which we are not only shaped by the universe, but also capable of consciously aligning with its deeper patterns and intentions. As Socrates famously said, the unexamined life is not worth living. This is more than a call to introspection. It is an invitation to participate knowingly in existence. If life has a purpose, it is not passive. It requires awareness, reflection, and a willingness to engage with both the visible and the unseen dimensions of reality. At its core, this perspective suggests that consciousness itself is the starting point. We're not merely physical beings navigating material circumstances, but aware participants in a reality that includes both tangible experiences and intangible principles, what many traditions describe as eternal energies. Psychologist Wayne Dyer was frequently heard to say, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." These are not necessarily mystical thoughts and forces in a literal sense, but enduring qualities that appear across human experience: love, truth, compassion, creativity, order, and even the drive toward growth itself. Learning and growing. From the moment we are born, we begin learning. Not just facts, but patterns. We learn what fosters connection and what creates division. We learn what leads to fulfillment and what leads to emptiness. Over time, we begin to recognize that certain ways of being seem to resonate more deeply with life itself. Acting with honesty tends to create clarity. Acting with compassion tends to deepen relationships. Acting with courage tends to expand possibility. The importance of experience. This recognition brings us to the role of experience. As Albert Einstein is often credited with expressing, the only source of knowledge is experience. Whether or not this phrasing is exact, the truth behind it remains powerful. Experience is how we come to understand not just the world, but the underlying patterns that give it coherence. Through experience, we begin to sense that life is not neutral in its outcomes. Certain attitudes and actions align us with what feels true and expansive, life-giving, and meaningful, while others lead to contraction, confusion, and disconnection. This is where the idea of alignment with eternal energies begins to take shape. Free will becomes a mechanism through which this alignment is possible. We are our choices. As Jean-Paul Sartre wrote, we are our choices. If this is true, then every decision we make is more than a practical action. It is a directional movement. We are constantly orienting ourselves. Some choices bring us into greater harmony with truth, compassion, and growth. Others pull us away from these principles and their related energy. This does not imply a simplistic moral system, but rather a dynamic process of alignment. Much like a musician tuning an instrument, we adjust ourselves through feedback. When we act out of alignment through dishonesty, cruelty, or avoidance, we often feel internal tension or fragmentation. Aligning with the eternal energies and free will. When we act in alignment with integrity, empathy, or courage, we tend to experience a sense of coherence or rightness, even if the situation is difficult. The inner feedback systems are not always loud or obvious, but they are persistent. It is refined through reflection. As Carl Jung noted, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Awareness allows us to recognize the patterns guiding our decisions and to consciously choose whether to continue or to change them. In this sense, free will is not merely the ability to choose randomly, it is the capacity to align intentionally. It allows us to move toward what is enduring rather than what is fleeting. It gives us the ability to participate in the deeper structure of reality and purpose, rather than simply reacting to surface or strictly materialistic events. Alignment is not automatic, it is learned, often through difficulty. As Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, that which does not kill us makes us stronger. Hardship frequently forces us to confront misalignment, ways of thinking or acting that no longer serves our growth and overall life purpose. In doing so, it creates a possibility of realignment. This is where growth becomes central to the whole process. Growth is not simply the accumulation of knowledge or success, but increasing harmony between our inner life and the deeper patterns of existence. It is a gradual movement from fragmentation toward integration. Mistakes as seeds to growth. Interestingly, and seemingly ironic, mistakes play an essential role in this process. As Maya Angelou wisely said, do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. Each mistake reveals something about ourselves, about others, about reality. When we respond with reflection rather than denial, mistakes become instruments of alignment. Eternal importance of relationships. Relationships deepen this process even further. Other people are not only companions, they are our mirrors. Through them, we see our tendencies, our strengths, and our blind spots. In the book I and Thou by Martin Buber, he emphasized that genuine encounter reveals truth that cannot be discovered in isolation. He concluded that truth, selfhood, and even the divine are revealed through authentic relationship and encounter. He stated, when two people relate to each other authentically and humanly, God is the electricity that surges between them. This shared dimension of growth reflects a broader interconnectedness. As Helen Keller expressed, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Alignment is not only individual, it is relational and even collective implications. So societies, like individuals, can move toward or away from principles such as justice, compassion, and truth. Growth and purpose do not require perfection. Importantly, alignment with these eternal energies does not require perfection. It is an ongoing process. There are moments of clarity and moments of confusion, periods of alignment and periods of drift. The goal is not to remain perfectly aligned at all times, but to become increasingly aware and responsive, and doing better. This is why patience and openness are essential. As the poet Maria Rilke advised, live the questions now. Alignment is not achieved through rigid certainty, but through continuous engagement with life's unfolding complexity. Meaning and purpose of life. Meaning in this framework emerges from alignment. As Viktor Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, life is never made unbearable by circumstance, only by lack of meaning and purpose. When we align our choices with deeper principles such as love, truth, and growth, we create meaning even in difficult circumstances. This perspective also encourages humility. If life and its purpose is part of an eternal process of learning, growth, and alignment, then no one has complete understanding. Each person is in a different stage of awareness, encountering different lessons. This fosters compassion for ourselves and for others. At the same time, it elevates responsibility. If we have the freedom to align or not, then our choices matter deeply. We shape not only our own development, but also the world we participate in creating. As Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, life is a journey, not a destination. The journey is one of continual adjustment, of learning how to live in greater harmony with what is true, enduring, eternal, and life-giving. Writer and poet Khalil Gibran expressed, "Your living is determined not so much by what life brings to you as by the attitude you bring to life." That attitude, shaped by awareness, choice, and intention, is the means by which alignment becomes possible. In the end, the idea that we're here to learn, experience, choose, and grow expands into something even deeper. We are here to participate consciously in the fabric of existence through free will. We are given a remarkable capacity to orient ourselves and our lives, to move toward truth rather than illusion, toward compassion rather than indifference, toward growth rather than stagnation. Life, then, is not only a journey of becoming, but a process of alignment. Each moment presents an opportunity to listen, to learn, and to choose again. Perhaps that is the quiet, enduring purpose of life. Not simply to exist, but to align more and more fully with what is timeless in it. Paul Susic, PhD. Thank you for watching my video today. I hope you continue to come back and watch more. And subscribe and like this video so it can be more available to others. Thank you.